Okay, so we're continuing where we left off in the last solutions video there, and we're on to challenge 2, question 2. This the word problems. So A, there's 170 people living in the street. If 70% of them own a car, how many do not own a car? How many do not own a car? So if 70% own a car, then I know that 30% don't own a car, because 70 plus 30 make 100, and with percent, we're always working out of 100, so I'm going to find 30% of 170. Now I know that 30% is the same as 3/10, so I'm going to start off with 170 divided by 10, which gives me 17. Then I'm going to multiply it by the top, which is 3. So divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, and that got me 51. So 51 people do not own a car. B, Liam bought a dog for £110. His mum gave him 30% of the money. How much did he have to pay himself? His mum gave him 30%. So I know that he must have paid 70%, because 30 adds 70 equals 100. Sort of a reverse of question A there. His mum gave him 30%, he's paid 70%. So I want to find 70% of £110. 70% equals 7/10. So I'm finding 7/10 of this amount. £110 divided by 10, divided by the bottom, is £11. So 10 is the bottom number, we've divided it by the bottom, which gives us £11. Then we need to multiply that by the top, and you'll know this one from your tables, which is £77. 11 times 7 is 77, so he had to pay £77 himself. Okay, for question C, I buy 10 ice creams and the price should be £15. When I go to pay, I get a 20% discount. How much do I need to pay? Now the word discount, that means money off. It's like a sale, so you're getting a 20% off the normal price. So the normal price is £15, and we need to find how much the person needs to pay. Now, if he gets 20% off, that means he's paying 80%, because 20 and 80 make 100, and we're working out of 100, because percent means out of 100, as we know. So what I want to do really is find 80% of £15 to find out how much he needed to pay. 80% is equal to 8/10, so I'm going to start off by dividing by the bottom number. I'm going to divide £15 by 10. All the numbers shift down a house, and I've got £1.50. The number gets 10 times smaller, so the first part here is £1.50. Now I have to multiply by the top number, which is 8. So £1.50 multiplied by 8. And when I did that, I got £12. Be careful with your decimal point on that one to put it in the right place. D, 1,600 football fans were asked if they thought the team would win or lose. 25% say they think the team will lose. How many think the team will win? If 25% think that they're going to lose, that means 75% think they're going to win. Okay, so I'm going to try and find 75% of this number. The number is 1,600. I know that 75% is the same as 3/4. I'm going to start off by dividing by the bottom. So 1,600 divided by 4. Now hopefully you'll see your tables knowledge coming in straight away here, because you know 16 divided by 4 is 4. This number is just 100 times bigger, so that gives me 400. Then I'm going to multiply that by 3. Then I'm going to do a sum for that one, because I know from my tables that 4 times 3 is 12. This number is 100 times bigger, so I know that it's going to be 1,200 or 1,200 for my answer there. So that's 3/4 of 1,600 is 1,200. On the challenge 3 solutions, and we're finding, again to start off with, the fractions of a whole amount. You'll notice that all of these end in a 5. So the strategy I'm going to use in our solutions here is I'm going to find the multiple of 10 plus then the 5% afterwards and add them together. So I'll work through A a bit slower, and then you'll get the idea. For A, I'm finding 35% of 2,450. So what I'm going to do first of all is going to find 30% of that. So 30% is 3/10. 2,450 divided by 10 is 245, and I'm going to multiply that by the top, which is 3. When I did that, I got 735 kilometres. Now I've got to find 5% to add on to the 30%. I've already found 10%, which is 245, so I've got to divide that by 2 to find 5%. So 245 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 5 divided by 2 is 2, remainder 1. Going to put that down here beside this 0, which I'm adding in the 10th house. So I'm adding on the 10th house, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So remember, if you have a remainder at the end of your whole number, you need to add in your decimal point and go on into the 10th house. Put a 0 in, carry your remainder over, and do your dividing. So that's 122.5 kilometres. To find the final answer, I'm going to add those together, 735 plus 122.5. So it means you need to add a 10th house into the top number there as well and fill it with a 0 as a placeholder. And that will get me my final answer. Don't forget about your decimal point. And it's 857.5 kilometres. B is also 35%. So again, I started off by finding 30% or 3/10, 5,020. So I divided it by 10, which got me 502 grams. Multiplied that by 3, which got me 1,506 grams. So 30% is 1,506 grams. Now I've just got to find the 5%, and I'm going to do that by taking the 10% and dividing it by 2. So 502 was 10%. I'm going to divide that by 2, which gets me 251 grams. So the 5% is 251 grams, and I'm going to add that to the 30% now. When I did that, got those both together, the 251, the 5% plus the 30% here, gave me 1,757 grams. Say I'm calculating 15%, so I started off by finding 10% of the amount, which gave me 763 pounds. I've got to find 5% as well. So that's going to be 763 pounds, which is 10% divided by 2. When I did that, I got £381.50. So I'm adding the 0 on there because I'm working with money to make it into 50. Now remember, when I did that, I had a remainder at the end of my whole number, carried it over, made a 10th house, used 0 as a place holder, which gave me 10, divided by 2, and that was 5. I added the 10% and the 5% together to make 15%, and I got £1,144.50. For F, I was finding 45%, so I started by finding 40%, which is 4/10. So divide by the bottom, 9,760 divided by 10 gave me 976. Multiply that by 4, multiply by the top to find 40%, which is 3,904. Then I took 10%, 976, and divided it by 2 to find 5%, which was 488. And when I added them together, the final answer was 4,392. G, 65%, so 60% is 6/10. I found 1/10, which is 849, times 6 for 60%, which gives me 5,094. Took the 10% and halved it to find 5%, which is 424.5, and when I added the 60% to the 5%, I got my final answer of 5,518.5 kilograms. In H, I used exactly the same method as I did in G. To find 65%, I found 60%. So divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, and that got me 4,530. I divided 10% by 2 to find 5%, and when I added them, I got 4,907.5. For I, we were finding 85%, so the first thing I did was find 80%, or 8/10, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, and that got me 6,624. Then I took 10%, or 1/10, and divided it by 2 to find 5%, which was £414. I added the 80% to the 5%, which got me a final answer of £7,038. And I used the same method for I. I found 80% first of all, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, so 8/10 of that number is 7,992. Then I used the 10% divided it by 2 to find 5%, 499.5, added them together, and I get 8,491.5. For K, we were finding 15%, so I found 10%, or 1/10, by dividing it by 10, which gives me 320. I divided that by 2 to find 5%, which gives me 160, added them together, and my final answer was 480 grams. And for L, we're finding 35%. So I found 30%, or 3/10, by dividing by 10 and then multiplying by 3, and I got 1,368 pounds. I had found 10%, which was 456, divided that by 2 to get 5%, which is 228, and when I added those together, the final amount was £1,596. Your teachers will look at question 2 to see what your instructions were for that. For question 3A, what percentage of the rug is each colour? Well, let's see how many squares or how many panels are in the rug. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4 down the side. 5 times 4 is 20. So I know there's 20 panels in the rug. I want to first of all find out how many are red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds. So 5 out of 20 are red. We know that percent is always out of 100, so I need to change this into hundredths. So 20 times 5 makes 100, 5 times 5 makes 25, and 25 100ths is 25%. So for the reds, the answer is 25%. Next we look at blue. There are 3 blue panels, so that's 3 20ths, which we need to change into hundredths. So again, 20 times 5 is 100. 3 times 5 is 15, so 3 20ths equals 15 hundredths, which is 15%. So 15% were blue. Next we'll do orange. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 oranges, 8 20ths. Changing that into hundredths, again we're timesing by 5, and 8 5s are 40, so 40 hundredths. So for the orange, that means 40% of the rug is orange. Now the last one here is green, and if I was thinking very carefully and trying to save myself a bit of time, what I could do is add up the 25 and 15, which makes 40, and another 40, which makes 80, and I think, well, out of 100% I have 80 so far, so 20% must be green, but I'm just going to double check that to make sure. So let's see how many of the tiles are green. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 4 20ths. Which out of 100, if we again multiply by 5, is 20, so that's 20%. So yes, 20% of the tiles are green. We're told that the rug costs £2,450, and we need to find out how much each colour would have cost. So for the red, that's 25%, which is 1/4 of the total rug, so we need to find 1/4 of the price, so 2,450 divided by 4. So when I divided it by 4, I got £612.50. The blue is 15%, so if I take 10% of the 2,450, that's 245. If I half that to find 5%, I get remainder 1 there, so 122.50. So I need to add 10%, 245 to 122.50. And my price for the blue comes out at £367.50. The orange is 40%, so again I'm going to take the 10%, which is £245. I'm going to multiply it by 4 to make it into 40%, which gives me a price of £980. And for the green, I'm going to try and use a shortcut here. So the orange is 40%, the green is 20%. 20 is half of 40. So it's going to be half the price. So for this one, what I'm going to do is divide the 40%, which is 980, by 2, which gives me £490. Always look for those little more efficient ways of doing it, a quicker way of doing it, but that'll still get you the right answer. So that one was 490. Okay, that maths was pretty heavy going today, guys. A lot of working out to do, a lot of thinking to do, so well done for making it to the end.